I have been very angry, absolutely livid for about a week now. So I thought, why not talk about anger management today and how terrible anger management therapy is. My personal opinion, after having been forced to go to anger management therapy for several years growing up, is that anger management is a flaming hot pile of garbage, and anger management therapy often makes managing your anger worse. Anger management therapy encourages you to bottle your emotions, which leads to emotional dysregulation, which also breeds resentment, which breeds revenge. And the whole idea and the teachings of anger management therapy often undermines itself by creating a punishment for what you perceive as somebody else's actions. If you're not familiar with anger management therapy because you've never been forced to go, let's take it from the top. Anger is bad, and you are bad for being angry, especially if you're angry at other people. That was the first thing I learned in anger management therapy. Even though anger is a perfectly normal human emotion, and there are things that cause anger that should cause anger. There are some things you should be angry about. And right now, I'm pretty angry about something that's pretty justifiable. So if you've ever been to anger management therapy and you've also been told that anger is bad and you are bad for being angry, or it's been implied, I'm going to tell you, it's not bad. It's normal. It's healthy. There are times when you should be angry, and anger is a healthy emotion to have. The problem with teaching people, especially children, that anger is bad and it is bad to be angry is that teaches you to bottle your emotions. Even if you don't tell someone, bottle your emotion of anger, they're still gonna do it. Because when you tell someone they're bad for acting in a normal, healthy way, it teaches them shame and guilt for their normal reaction. And let's say somebody genuinely has a wrath problem and lashes out at people, is violent, might abuse substances. Yes, that's a problem, but that's not an anger problem. That's an impulsivity problem. That's a rationalization problem. That's maybe somebody doesn't have so much of a conscience problem. And there's other things that need to be addressed, because those issues and those behaviors will also be present outside of being angry. People who lash out at others when they are angry do so because they are comfortable with lashing out at others. People who abuse substances when they are angry also abuse substances when they're not angry. They're okay with that behavior when they're not angry too. You wouldn't look at somebody who abuses substances as a celebratory thing and say, hey, it's bad that you are happy because you're doing drugs, so don't be happy because it's bad. You would look at that behavior and say, all right, well, it's good that you're happy and that you're wanting to celebrate something, but let's not do drugs. Let's not hurt yourself. And the right way to address this would be to say, you know what, these behaviors you're doing are bad. I see that you do these behaviors often when you're angry, and you seem to be a very angry person. Let's discuss what's making you angry, and let's actually try and fix the root cause of it. Now, I said that a little bit cheekily because another problem I've experienced with anger management therapy, and why I think it's hot garbage, is that anger management therapy, it does not seek to solve the root cause of your anger. It just looks and says, oh, well, your anger's bad, we need to fix that. And oh, your behavior's bad, you need to stop doing that. It doesn't look at the root cause and actually help you fix it. One of the main talking points of anger management therapy, especially in like a group anger management therapy session, is your actions have consequences. Like, no shit, everybody knows actions have consequences. We learned that in elementary school. The problem with that approach is that it only teaches you that you have consequences for your actions. It doesn't teach you that he has consequences for his actions. No, the guy who makes you angry, not only does he not have consequences for his actions, but you are the one getting extra punished because you got angry. And I don't mean that in a you should blame other people for your problems way, because I definitely don't agree with that. I think you need to be responsible and take responsibility for your actions. They are the actions you are taking. But I see a fundamental issue with the way anger management therapy teaches actions have consequences. For example, when I was a kid, my sister used to leave her dirty, disgusting socks on my side of the couch. And I would tell her, stop leaving your socks on my side of the couch. Either put them on your side or put them in the laundry hamper. It's not that far. And she would say, no. And then she would do it again. The next day, she would take her dirty socks and she'd throw them at me. That's not okay. Where are the consequences for her action? Nowhere. According to anger management therapy, there are no consequences for her. There are only consequences for you if you take those dirty socks and shove them down her throat. And I distinctly remember this issue because they got out like a whiteboard and they started doing like a flow chart thing with it. And they're like, okay, well, you are the one who hurt your sister and you have no remorse for it, so you're getting in trouble and blah, blah, blah. And I would just take the marker and I would say, okay, so here are the dirty socks she put on me on my side of the couch. Well, if those socks never get moved and that issue never gets fixed, let's draw right back up to that spot where I got angry. And that anger is never going to go away because I'm never going to be okay with my sister putting her dirty socks on me. She was just nasty for no reason at all. My anger was justified. So who really should have been in therapy to fix their behavior? My sister should have. She's the one that's totally screwed up now. I fixed the issue of my sister throwing her dirty socks on me by moving into my own apartment, which took like 10 to 12 years from about the time we're talking about. It took a long time to get there to where I was able to fix this issue myself. But once I fixed that issue, it doesn't make me angry anymore. I don't care. She can throw her dirty socks wherever she wants because they're not on me. So if I were to go back in time and get that little whiteboard erase marker out again, I would write on that chart, grow up and move out. That's what's gonna fix this issue because my sister never changed. She was still nasty to me our entire lives growing up. And even kind of as an adult too, she still threw her socks on me a few times. So see how much more effective it is when you get rid of the root cause of the anger, like your sister just being a nasty human being to you, and how much of an effect it has on reducing anger levels and reducing that bad behavior that people don't like. It's so much better than what they teach in anger management therapy. And I do believe in taking responsibility for your actions and giving consequences for bad behavior if it is dealt evenly all across the board. But one of the main issues I personally had with anger management therapy is I was forced to go so much. And after a while, I was the only one still going. I was the only one getting pulled out of class. I was the only one being told that my actions are bad because I was angrier than the other kids. And after a while, that in and of itself felt like a punishment. And over time, seeing other kids not get in trouble for riling me up and instigating stuff, and seeing that I got punished for that, and then having to be punished by going to anger management therapy, after a while, I learned, yeah, life really isn't fair and I was being singled out. And also not to trust anybody, not to play with other kids, not to let them get me into a position where they could take advantage of my anger and be nasty to me and get away with it and get me in trouble. So it made me kind of antisocial after a while, which is probably not what they were trying to do by forcing me to go to anger management therapy. It also taught me, like I said before, to bottle my anger, to not lash out in anger, which led to resentment, which led to me taking revenge on other people and not getting caught for it, which is probably not what you want if you're trying to teach someone not to behave a certain way. Now, I read a study recently that actually addressed that issue, and it showed that yes, while anger management therapy may help reduce impulsive behavior, it also increases resentment and actions of revenge later. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what this kind of revenge looks like when you delay the anger reaction to people. When I was in elementary school at daycare, which I was forced to go to the YMCA for years, and it was terrible, absolutely horrible, encouraged a lot more anger and resentment in me, but these kids wanted to play this CD. I think it was a Kids Bop CD, like maybe 19, I think it might have been number 19, and I was so annoyed by hearing this Kids Bop CD day in and day out. I did not want to hear this Kids Bop CD anymore. So I knew I was getting in trouble for being angry and lashing out at kids. So instead of lashing out at kids, I waited. I waited until the CD player was off and nobody was playing that CD. And also, nobody was around the CD player. And for whatever reason, nobody was looking at me or paying attention to me. And I took a pair of scissors and I scratched up the CD, and I thought, no, that's not good enough. And I cut a chunk out of that CD. And do you know what happened? Because yes, there were consequences for that action. But the consequences for that action, since nobody saw me do it, was that everybody got in trouble. And for me, it was so satisfying to see the other kids get in trouble for something I did. But because I was taught that I was being unfairly singled out, and because I was only taught that my actions are the only ones that have consequences, and let's be realistic, I was always getting in trouble anyway, I didn't see that revenge as a bad thing. I saw it as a good thing that, oh, well, I was taught how not to lash out at people. Now I can just get back at them without getting caught. That's what the adults told me when they punished the other kids for my actions. And as an adult, I would have a very different reaction to that kind of situation these days. But I really don't regret that still to this day because of the position I was put in and how nobody cared about me. Nobody cared about how upset I was. And they probably still don't care. Probably none of them remember that situation. And as an adult, if I were in that situation, I would just walk out. I would just move myself and not have to listen to that music. But as a child, I had no choice. And the biggest issue with anger is really feeling trapped, feeling like you have no choice, and that other people are making you miserable and they're forcing you to be miserable, and nobody cares. Nobody wants to help you feel better. And even anger management therapists really don't want to help you feel better. They just want to get you to stop doing what you're doing. And really, anger management therapy just needs to teach you how to fix your problems, teach you how to get rid of the annoying things in your life, teach you how to get rid of the frustrating things in your life, teach you how to fix the problems that you have, rather than telling you, oh, you need to fix yourself. So, I guess what I'm really trying to say, this has probably been way too long already, is that anger management therapy is a flaming hot pile of garbage, and that really what it should be doing is teaching you how to fix your problems, how to walk away from situations that really are bad for you, and really show you how to improve your control over your own life. Because one of the biggest problems with anger, and one of the biggest problems with people who have so much anger that they end up in anger management therapy and are being forced to go to anger management therapy, is they often feel like they have no control over the situation and no control over their lives. And that's why they lash out at people. Because when you give somebody the option to just walk away, it works. It usually works most of the time. And anger management therapy never really gives you that option. Sometimes they'll say, oh, we'll go walk away and then come back when you're calmed down and let's talk about it. You need to apologize for what you did. But no, that doesn't work. Sometimes you need to move out of the house. Sometimes you need to never go back to that daycare again. And sometimes you need to learn how to cut out toxic people in your life that are causing your anger. Sometimes you need to make a radical life change and improve your life so that the things that are causing you anger are no longer affecting you. And sometimes you have a problem that, yes, you could fix, and sometimes you don't. But sometimes there are issues you have to face head on. And right now I'm facing one of those issues. I'm in a situation that I did not cause. I actually tried to prevent it. It's a situation I have no control over, and it is one that I also can't just walk away from. And I have been very, very angry about it, but I have not lashed out at anybody. I have not gotten violent. I have not destroyed property. I have not acted in a negative way because of my anger. Because I can think rationally and clearly within a realm of anger and rage. And after giving myself time to be angry, right? I gave myself a few days to be angry with this one. And I went online and I found some information and I discussed it at length with the person whose fault this is and the person who is going to have severe consequences of this and needs to fix the situation. I've discussed what to do going forward. How are we going to address this situation? Because we need to do it together because it affects both of us. And that has helped because now it helps me have a little more control over the situation, to see that path forward, to see where this needs to go. And it helps me to see the remorse and to see the person who caused this situation is going to have some consequences for his actions. And it also doesn't feel like I'm just trapped in a situation I have no control over. And it doesn't feel like I'm just made to be angry and being blamed for it. And it's also a situation where my anger is justified and I have been allowed to be angry. And I haven't been told that my anger is wrong or that I should be ashamed or guilty of it. And that really helps with this situation, because that means that I can deal with it. And that means it'll get better. And it means after the situation has been dealt with, and after a little bit of time, because it's going to take a little time for this anger to simmer down, I'll get over it. I'll get through it. And that's what they need to teach you in anger management therapy. They need to teach you how to think logically and rationally within a realm of anger and rage. And still be able to control yourself, still be able to control the way you act, and be able to give you the resources to collaborate with people, to compromise with people, to find a solution to your issue, to maybe go online and find what other people have done with the issue or find information you need to fix it. But anger management therapy really needs to allow you to be angry and just teach you how to fix your problems, right? That's all. That's all it really needs to do. Because if you're told that it's okay to be angry and you're given the space to be angry, you don't have to lash out at people anymore. And I don't know, is this a good video? Does anybody relate to it? Does it even make sense? Or do you guys just think I'm some crazy angry ginger? And I don't want you guys getting the wrong impression here, because this is not just like an impulsive video that I'm making because I'm angry and have a lot to say on the topic because I'm angry. Like, I've actually been wanting to start this channel for 10 months now. It's been a while, and I've done YouTube for a few years already. I have a sewing channel, and I've been wanting to make a second channel where I just talk about stuff, like whatever I want to feel like talking about. And I did at one point film a few videos, and I just did not like the way they came out. So the feedback I received was, make it more personal, like talk about your experiences more. And so yeah, I'm angry right now, so it's getting me in the thought process of thinking about anger and thinking about how terrible anger management therapy was for me and how it did not prepare me at all for the situation I'm dealing with now. And it was really just the way I've dealt with anger as an adult and the way I've rationalized anger and come to my own conclusions that has helped me, that made me want to talk about it. And I thought, I'm too angry to work on my sewing channel right now. I just can't. I need to do something else. I need to do something that will take my mind off it. Maybe be productive. Maybe get me out of the realm of anger and rage that I've been in. So this is maybe my first video for the channel, and if this turns out well, if you guys liked it, maybe I'll do more, so let me know. If not, if you guys just didn't like it, that's okay too. Just tell me it's terrible and I will never make another video on this channel again.